You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
Hello and welcome to the Up the Turnpike post-game show. What's going on? Matt O'Leary alongside Mitch Anderson. Mitch, the Isles are streaking here. They're going on a run.
Look at that. Look at that. 4 wins in a row. Insane stuff. You love to see it. You love to see the Islanders win. If they can keep doing it, then that changes a lot. But I don't know if we're there yet to say, like, it has changed. We're good. But this was a big test. It was a big test for the Islanders against a really good Carolina team that made some big changes recently. So good stuff there. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. So I missed most of this game. So last night I was at the Isles game, so I was upset that I couldn't hop on the post game. I probably should have from the parking lot because it took like 30 minutes to get out of the parking lot. So I probably could have done the entire freaking post game last night with you. Instead, I was just stressed and like gripping the wheel at 10-2, sitting there like all upset. Tonight, yeah, on the horn. But tonight was Cousins dinner, so I got back in time for the third period and was able to see the end here. So nice little comeback Isles win tonight.
Yeah, it really feels good to get that type of win because they played well enough. They really did. The underlying numbers, specifically the expected goals, are not pretty for the Islanders. But Marcus Hogberg was really the wall in there. And I know he led up 2. We'll get to those goals, obviously, but he was fantastic for the Islanders. And they held well. They did well against a really good team that made a really big change, right? In trading for Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall. We forget they added Taylor Hall as well.
Dude, the stadium's reaction. So like, obviously I was at the game and it was going through as we were there, but like the people around me, we were all kind of like reacting together and we were all like, holy shit. Like this is like, I was trying to explain to Taylor, like this is a really big, like blockbuster trade. It's rare to see like stars like this get moved in season.
Especially in the NHL. Basketball happens all the time.
Oh, of course. Right. But in hockey.
Yeah. And like the word chat, we were talking about it as well. Going, when was the last big trade like this?
Eichel?
And well, that's one name that came up. What about the Tkachuk and Huberdeau trade? I don't know if that was before or after Eichel, though.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Exactly.
I don't think that was in season, right? That was definitely.
Oh, you're right. It was off season. Fair. Good point. Because yeah, the last even like big hockey trade that we saw, like that I can remember anyways, and I'm sure someone in the chat will remind us of other ones, and please do. I'm just thinking like Seth Jones and Ryan Johansson, right, between Columbus and Nashville. That was a big like, oh my God moment.
Eichel's was off season too, so I guess that maybe poor example on my part. But that's another good one. Tkachuk and Huberdeau. That's around that same time, I would think, right? 2021.
Yeah. But you're right, though, because then when you get into in-season months before the trade deadline, right? The trade deadline is maybe not months, but early March. I think March 7th is when the trade deadline hits. And here they are making a trade January 24th for some big friggin' names.
Wow. How can we forget the monster Bo Horvat for Anthony Beauvillier, a first, and Aatu Räty trade, too? That's got to be on the same par.
Yeah. Well, even during the game, right? The Cadillac question was there's only the last time a player was traded who had scored or 1.3 points per game in midseason or something like that. It was Wayne Gretzky in 1996. That's some good company to have, Mikko Rantanen. My God.
Love that.
Insane. Well, we're talking about other teams and not ours.
Yeah, you want to get into this? So the Canes strike first. They get on the board 5:18 into it. Jack Roslovic with goal number 18 of the season here kind of just rips one right by Marcus Hogberg, who started. We would see Ilya Sorokin later in this game.
Yeah, so maybe poor placement from like in and out so quickly from Isaiah George here. You can see he kind of goes to center ice. But Scott Mayfield pinches here. Maybe not pinches. That's maybe the wrong word because you can see he's not that far in. So I'm going to take that pinch.
Almost feels like they got caught. Sorry to cut you off, but I was going to say almost feels like they got caught in a change, right? Like I think it was Barzal and Hero started over.
Yeah.
Who's coming onto the ice? Yeah, 36 and 13 come onto the ice. They're trying to go into the offensive zone. And then Roslovic kind of just sneaks out and gets a stretch pass.
Yeah, and a hell of a pass by Yemi, and then the shot by Roslovic was fantastic. It was really a great shot. Knuckles over Hogberg's shoulder, the blocker side, which is the softest spot to shoot for a goal or to stop for a goalie. If you're going to shoot on a goalie, kids at home, always go high blocker. It's a lot harder to get the arm up there, whereas a glove, it's a lot easier to get there. So good shot by Roslovic. I can't get too mad, even on George. Like, he tried to get back, and Rosovic just got the shot before he can get there. So these things are going to happen.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the Islanders, another goal would go in almost instantaneously. That first one, 5:18. The second one at 6:30. This is kind of the second one on Aho is kind of just a bad luck goal. Goes off Isaiah George and in here. You'll see in a second.
Yeah, exactly. So like George makes a play, and then Duclair loses a puck battle, and Aho just throws it towards the net, and it deflects off of the inside, I think it was. It doesn't matter what side. It bounces off Isaiah George's skate and in. Hogberg can't get the leg down quick enough because it caught him by surprise, because it wasn't supposed to be there. And then we're down 2-0, 6.5 minutes in, and you're going, here we go. Oh my God, what the hell?
Because how many times over the last few years have we seen those games where the Islanders just get boat raced by Carolina? Like, it felt like, at least to me, following along, obviously I wasn't locked in until I got back in the third period, but following along my phone, I'm like, oh, okay, down 2-0 in the first period. It's gonna be one of those nights, sort of thing.
Yeah, but then like Patty didn't have to take a timeout, as far as I know. I was watching the game, but I had it on mute, so I missed some of the little nuances that is brought to you by the broadcast, the excellent broadcast of Brendan and Butchie, by the way, because it was another date night today where we're trying to make up for lost time, and I didn't see him take a timeout, and so the Islanders seem to have collected themselves, because from there on in they played pretty well. I thought Hogberg did a great job, but I thought the Islanders did a pretty good job themselves of battling back into this one.
They absolutely did, and let's talk about it, because Alex Romanov gets on the board for the New York Islanders as well. Got to pull this up. Sorry, we'll see Romanov eventually come into the frame here.
There he is.
Yeah, and then boom, fires it on net and in.
Yeah, again, lucky bounce as well, right? It takes a bounce off of someone in front.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit of a lucky play, but I think especially the last two nights, Romanov's been extremely noticeable with his play.
And yeah, I want to say lucky, not in some sort of shot at Romy, like, oh, lucky goal. Like, you got to create your own luck, which is basically all Carolina does as well, right? To steal a page out of their book. They shoot from everywhere, knowing that eventually one of these are going to go in. If we roll the dice enough, we're going to get the right roll. We're going to get an at 20 and it's going to go in. Well, that's what Romy rolled right there. Threw it on the net and it's in. And you're right. This is a guy playing it with incredible form, whether it's adding a goal here or being that physical presence on the back end that we wanted when we traded for him. Fantastic. I'm kind of surprised that this is the first one of the year for him. I know he doesn't score many, but it feels like he would have had at least one by now.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was goal number one for him either. Like, I know he doesn't score. Yeah. I know he doesn't score a ton, obviously, but that is, and he's been banged up at times throughout the year too.
Yes,
but I'm surprised he hasn't gotten one yet.
Yeah, right. So he's clearly hitting a good patch of form, and a long may it last. Mainly because our defensive core is taking a beating.
Yeah, we gotta talk about. We got to talk about this too. On his first shift, Ryan Pulock gets hurt and does not return. And the Islanders almost immediately tweeted out that Ryan Pulock would not return.
Yeah, it didn't look good when he went to the room because he kind of needed some help and he was almost like hunched over, right? He gets clipped. So there's a Carolina Hurricane. I forget which one. There it is here, right there, 43. I don't know who, though. 53? I'll find out. Not that it matters. Blake, who was Jackson Blake, right? Or something? Doesn't matter. Who would come in a little bit later. He was after, was it Barzal and Tony D? Doesn't matter. Anyways, Blake kind of clips his skates, he being Ryan Pulock, and he falls to the ice. And I think he falls pretty hard, and it seems that he does some pretty decent damage to himself. Should have been a penalty, by the way.
Which is, it's not good regardless, right? Like, a penalty would have been nice, of course, but losing... No, exactly. Losing Pulock does not help anything, and the Islanders had to heavily rely on Alex Romanov ice time wise, not to spoil things. By the way, I didn't look to see who has the most amount of ice time, but I just heard on the broadcast them mention that he was playing a lot, so would not be surprised if he was the leader tonight. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But anyway, moral of the story, lose Pulock 15 seconds into a shift for him. And the Islanders down 2-1 after 2, but glad that they got one back before the end of that first period.
I just want to say something real quick. I'm just looking at, because we were talking about ice time, and I'm thinking, well, we don't have Ryan Pulock. We don't have Noah Dobson. I know the Islanders had 3 power plays. I know Tony DeAngelo was out there for most, if not all of it. I'm going to bet you that Tony DeAngelo leads the team in ice time today, because he probably has like 6 minutes of power play time.
I have not looked. So it would be a surprise to me too when we get to that point.
That's my bet. So because we lose our 2 power play guys, and Tony DeAngelo was brought in to play on the power play, so he's probably going to get all of it. Wild, but we end the period only down 2-1. We're still only talking about the first. There's so much that happened in the first period, man, and I'm sure we missed some stuff.
A lot went down in the first. No goals for either side in the second. Shots pretty even, 9-8. The Islanders with one more shot.
Yeah, so good job by the Islanders, especially keeping the shot totals high, or at least on pace with Carolina, because you knew that if you're going to stand a chance to play with Carolina, you got to keep those shot totals low. You can't let it get out of hand. Like, was it earlier this year where they had 98 shot attempts against us? Was that this season?
That usually that has happened a lot over the last few years.
Yeah. So there you go. But on to the second, where not a whole lot more happens.
That's what I was saying. No goals in the second period. Shots were 9-8. Anything in the second that you wanted to hit on before we move on to the third period?
I'm trying to think if I made a mental note of anything when I was watching. I think it just got a little bit more physical, at least in terms of the Carolina Hurricanes. They seem to really want to get in some of our faces. Just getting a couple of times. You saw that one play that tripped up Ryan Pulock at the very beginning of the game. That happened a few more times. I'm not really sure if it happened specifically in that second period, but Carolina was being very disruptive, trying to kind of knock us off our game, and we had the mental resolve to not do so, and that was great. It was nice to see.
In that second period, some things of note: a few penalties taken. Duclair takes a roughing that was killed off. And Gostisbehere and Aho took penalties, and the Islanders weren't able to capitalize on either one of those.
No, and they didn't look bad, though, on the power play. Tony DeAngelo did his thing. It's going to be hard. Like, obviously, Tony DeAngelo, he doesn't get a point today. He probably doesn't do a whole lot. I think he's going to have a couple of shots, probably a lot of ice time. But to be fair to him, it's game 1. Like, we can't expect anything. And I would hate for anyone to be like, he didn't score. Blah, blah, blah. Like, as much as I'd rather he not be on the team, like I've said in other posts, especially in last night's post-game show, like, he's here. I have to find a way to not get used to it, but live with it and do something positive with it. And that doesn't mean I need to be his cheerleader, but that just means I need to be like, okay, well, he played well. That's good.
Yeah, he didn't do anything negative tonight. He had, it doesn't, I wish NHL.com, they used to show how much power play time. I'm not going to give away his total amount of ice time, but it is a lot. There's 4 Islanders defensemen who have a lot of ice time. Okay. And then obviously Pulock doesn't have much. And there's one other guy who doesn't have a ton in comparison.
Yeah, exactly. So he was fine. He fit in, it seems. I keep saying it seems as if like I'm waiting for it not to. And I don't think that's necessarily fair to him. For me to say like, oh, well, let's just wait and see, thinking it's going to happen. It's not so far. Great. Good. Things are going well. Let's keep that up. Because if we're going to keep winning like we're doing, let's have a good time, I guess.
Sure. Third period, Mitch, things that you just absolutely love to see. Anders Lee just does not stop scoring goals. He puts in his 21st of the season to tie up the game shortly after a face-off here, goes to the front of the net and does Anders Lee things.
Yeah, it took a page out of Carolina's book here. Like, I know like Anders Lee typically goes to the net, but in this game, Carolina was doing I'm not going to say a good job, but a good job, if you will, of going to the front of our net and making life difficult on Marcus Hogberg. And so Anders Lee did the same thing to Peter Kochetkov. And there you go. Gets a nice work goal and goes almost too much into the net. But still, what I was impressed with is that he's not actually landing on any part of the goalie. He goes full on, like, all over the place, arm over here, leg over there. He plays twister around Peter Kochetkov in mid-flight. It was very impressive to see.
Yeah, it was.
Does he score 40 this year, Matt?
40 seems ambitious. I'm going to go like 34 goals for him this year.
Okay. It's going to get close because 21 now. We're at game 48, is it? Ooh. I don't know what that paces out to, but oh boy.
I love it. Good for Anders, man. We both were critical of him last year, and I think he deserved it, but we both like Anders Lee and we're rooting for the guy, and he's been one of the Islanders' best players this year. So it makes me happy. Go to the front of the net, score goals. Love it.
Exactly. Does what he does best. Love to see it.
So no other goals in that third period, although at the end of the game, we would see Marcus Hogberg goes to Patrick Waugh and it's like, I can't continue here. So Ilya Sorokin would have to come out for overtime.
I was a little bit worried about that because I don't think that overtime is maybe the greatest place for Sorokin. It's for some reason overtime and shootouts, he kind of struggles with that. Yeah, I know Will say he struggles with other things too, and we won't get into that, but he struggles with that particularly. What happened with Hogberg exactly, it still remains a mystery specifically. I know that Patrick White just said that it's an upper body injury for Hogberg and Pulock. Won't specify how Hogberg got hurt, but said it got worse as third period went on. I know you saw him a few times in that third period kind of shake his blocker hand. So this one here, I guess, because he's a left catch. There was, as I said before, there was contact in the crease multiple times by the Carolina Hurricanes. And it seemed that one of them really got him, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And he just said, like, don't put me in, coach, because I might not win the game here.
Yeah, that's really tough. So obviously I hope it's not something long-term because he's been really good for the Islanders this year. This was his fifth start. The Islanders obviously won the game here. He was 2-2 so far through 4. So I guess he's, they're 3-2 on the season heading into tonight, 952 save percentage and 132 goals against.
My God. Insane stuff. I haven't seen his numbers today, but I only imagine that gets better.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that much better. Two saves on however many shots. I don't think Carolina got too many shots in overtime. So still good stuff.
Absolutely. And in overtime, a little breakaway action, 2-on-1 for Kyle Palmieri and Brock Nelson. And Brock Nelson finishes here to end this game.
Yeah, I was looking at the screen when it was happening. And again, I'm watching in mute on my little laptop there. And I had to focus, like, what number is that? And then I see 29. Or like, we're good. This is ending right now. And sure enough, right through him like he's Swiss cheese. Oh, yes.
Wicked shot. Things you love to see. That's his 15th of the year. He's been really good recently as well, which helps. I tweeted after the game, trade stock is going to the moon, baby. Like those meme coins, it's going to the moon.
Wow. I don't want to be like those meme coins because they're suddenly going to crash and lose 99.9% of their value.
No, it's we're just talking about the rise. We're not worrying about the dip. The dip is going to come with Dallas or Colorado or wherever the hell he's going.
Yeah. So we're now 6 points out of a playoff spot, and we have 2 games in hand. I know some of us are ready for the retool, myself as well, but that is something that we have to keep watching because that is something that Lou Lamoriello is very much watching. And we have the second longest win streak in the Eastern Conference.
And now Islanders are hot.
Look out.
7 of their last 9.
7-3-0, baby. It's nice to see. It is somewhat. And again, I'm all in for the retool. I'm okay if they miss the playoffs. Totally fine with that. But it is nice to see winning hockey because that's ideally what we all want anyways. And
they beat a good team. Carolina's really good. And they made a big trade yesterday and got better. And, Rantanen was on the ice for them tonight and they were able to beat him. Come back,
invisible today.
Yeah, I didn't hear his name called all that much.
Boom. Take that. Like, he's going to get better. He's going to be so good. Him and Sebastian Aho together is going to be ridiculous.
That top line is just absolutely ridiculous.
It's just not right. It's not right. But they did have to give up Marty Nietzsche, who was like in the running for the Hart Trophy at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I believe it was 55 points for him on the year so far.
That's insane. How I would have loved that on our team.
Must be nice. So let's do some box score numbers, and then we'll go through the guessing game, and then to some comments before we close. Shots on goal, 27 for Carolina. Islanders 26. Face-off percentage, Islanders dominant tonight, 65.2%. One power play opportunity for Carolina. They went 0 for 1. Islanders 0 for 3 on the power play. Penalty minutes 11-7. We didn't talk about the JG Pajot fight, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It was really strange, but good job by JG for just standing up for himself.
Hits, ton of hits for the Isles, 38-19. Block shots, 17-14. Canes with more. Giveaways, 7-5. Islanders with more, but the Islanders had 2 more takeaways, 7-5.
Dude, they've only allowed one power play or penalty kill goal, if you will. One power play goal against in their last 9 games. What the hell is going on here?
Light switch went on at the new year. That's the only thing that I can think of, right?
I just wish that they would have taken the time at the beginning of the season to address the penalty kill, because they have the right ideas, it seems. Come on.
And the goalies are playing better too on the penalty kill.
It certainly helps.
All right, you want to do the forwards? Who you got the most?
I assume it's Matthew Barzal with all that power play time. I don't think he ever got off the ice.
Not a bad guess. He's second, but Brock Nelson had 23-19. Matthew Barzal had 21-08.
I mean, if you're going to ride anyone, it's going to be Brock, because he's hot. So makes sense. Okay.
Least.
Kyle McLean.
Not a bad guess. That fourth line didn't play a ton, but Pierre Engvall had the least at 6 minutes and 56 seconds.
Oof. That's kind of surprising against a team, that's got a lot of speed. I say that because I don't actually know how fast they are, but that seems to be their thing. And you don't have your speedier player out there. I'm not saying they should have. It's a thing.
It was a Michael Dowd-Cole performance. No shots, no turnovers, no hits, no points. One of those nights.
Yeah, just not a whole lot of nothing, or just a whole lot of nothing. Okay, defenseman.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to make the guess, Tony D?
I'm going to say Tony D.
Tony D second. Alex Romanov leads the way at 26-41, a new career high for him. He had 2 points tonight, by the way. Tony D had 25-07.
Okay, I want to see. I'm on natural stat trick for. It's not shift report that I want. I could just do on ice, I suppose, and do 5-on-4 power play time on ice. Barzal was 5:19. Tony DeAngelo 5:15. Only Pelech, Romanov, or other defensemen to get any other power play time, and it's within seconds. 51 seconds for Pelech, 43 seconds for Romanov. Which makes a whole lot of sense, right? They get him to play the power play, and he's going to be one of them with Ryan Pulock, and then Pulock leaves like 10 seconds into the game. It's all you, Tony.
Yeah, good luck to you. So obviously we'll exclude Ryan Pulock, who had 15 seconds.
Right.
Who had the least besides him?
I assume it's Isaiah George.
It is at 16:38.
Okay. Yeah.
Everyone else had 24 minutes or more. Mayfield, Pelech, DeAngelo, Romanov. So they were essentially playing 2 pairs, and then George was rotating in.
Yeah, you give someone a breather every other shift type of thing. So, and George played well. I thought he was a good addition to, or a good player in this lineup. He was on the ice for 2 goals against, but you can't really fault him for those. You can rarely fault anyone for those. You can maybe pick like a bad change or too late of a change on that first one, but other than that, they were fine.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like defensive structure, I thought they were fine tonight. Yeah,
so good job by them.
Sorokin stopped the one shot he faced. Hogberg stopped 24 of 26, 2 goals against, a .923 save percentage.
Yeah, so excellent stuff by the Hog. I love how Butchie keeps calling him the Hog, or just Hog. Love it.
I like it. Yes.
That's a hell of a save by the Hog. So good. Sometimes it gets a bit too sexual, and that's even better. What a hog. Love it.
All right, let's close with some comments here. Pick your faves.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot, and we haven't even dealt with any of the comments. Usually we throw these in as we're going, but Matty D, yes, sir. 4 in a row. Love to friggin' see it.
They're streaking.
Bill's throwing me under the bus. He had to go through Fubo today, but it puts me in me territory because he's behind on the feed.
Yeah, I mean, I know Bill's likely an Optimum customer like me. I was not on Fubo, but I was on another streaming service. I feel like what I've done is I've muted my phone. I put the crescent moon on so I don't get the spoiler notifications.
Yeah, that's key. Sloppy Lou's currently picturing himself raising the cup at UBS center ice. PK is 16 of 18 in 2025. What the heck changed?
I told you the light switch went on at the New Year's. The ball dropped, and the Islanders said, "Hey, we got to figure out this PK," and they did.
Yeah, maybe we should be attacking the neutral zone. We can't defend it when they get in here, so let's just stop them from just getting in, which is honestly genius, and it's working. Only 1 PK against, and ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. Okay, let's go back up a bit because again, there are quite a few comments. Usually we throw these in as we're going, and when we just didn't. Yeah, like Jeremy, tough time to walk in for Sorokin. I hope Hogberg is okay. Yeah,
same on both. I think it's a good point to bring out or to mention that Sorokin had to come in a tough spot. He did his job, and so did Hogberg today. Kind of same thing. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, Gary, this was a solid effort. TDA looked good. George looked great. Yeah, checks on all 3. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep, agree.
So good job. Romanov, Walters throwing it in. Romanov's been really, really good. You said it before there, and he's not the only one. That Romy is feeling something else from left lock. Like something's happening with him, buddy.
He's finally healthy.
Yeah,
that's my take. I think he's finally healthy.
That'll do it. That'll certainly do it. Rick Rock, the KHL is loose Timu. Nothing wrong with adding what we need. I would debate that this is something we need, but it's working. Or it's been 1 game, but still. And hot take, this team is good. I'll take that hot take, man. I'll take it, Rick. I've long said that the team is good, and I know you said it as well. It's just as the season was progressing, you're like, well, it's clear that they're not because they're not doing what good teams do and win games. So I hope. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they're winning now, and I don't know if it's enough to get them back in it, but they've looked a lot better. So
yeah. So excellent stuff. Andre's asking where the hell was this the beginning of the year?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, same G's. This is excellent. The 28-32 win prediction from Spiz is dying.
I hate to see it.
Hate to see it happen. Does Hogberg get a win? I would think he gets a win.
No, it's technically Sorokin's. That's what they were saying on the broadcast. He could come in and get the win.
That's
which
BS.
Is kind of shitty, right?
Yeah, I know. Like he gets the moral victory. Like everyone will know he got the win, but like that's so lame. I hate that so much. Michael, the D stepped up tonight. They all played well. They really did, man. They actually really did.
Yep, they did. Especially, they were in a really tough spot with Pulock going down instantaneously in this game, and everybody else stepped up.
Yeah. Michael is asking, who's the last right-handed defenseman that the Islanders drafted? It was, I believe, Thomas Mahu, wasn't it?
I think that's correct. Which
they didn't draft one last year, did they? Unless I'm missing something. Is Veyer, I believe, is a left hand. That's the guy they got in the 6th or 7th round.
And Pulkkinen's a lefty.
Yeah. And then 2 years ago, I don't think they drafted a right-handed defenseman, if I'm remembering correctly.
Good Boggs a lefty, and so is Schultz.
Yeah. So then it would be Thomas Mahu who's playing for Providence, who last I checked we're losing. Or
so
lost.
2021.
Yeah, 7th round pick, Thomas Mahu. 6th round pick, Alexei Malinin isn't playing hockey this year. I don't know what the hell is going on. I know he was injured last year and he didn't finish the year, but he has not played hockey for any team professionally. I don't know what the hell's going on with our 6th round pick from that year. I can't find him. I don't know what's going on.
Someone get eyes on him, please.
Yeah. Michael, they need to pick a goddamn lane, please.
Yeah, either win out or lose out. Figure this shit out, dude.
Yeah, it sucks. Right? They're undefeated with D'Angelo. Facts. It's
Can't
facts.
can't deny the facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the line? Facts, not feelings.
Yeah. This is a good one here from Garrett. Well, they're all good ones. So that was no shot to anyone. Why not bring in Sippy instead of Engvall? This is a good point, right?
I was surprised that Siplikov did not return because today was the first one that he was eligible for.
Yeah. I know Butchie was saying on the broadcast before the game that coaches are superstitious. He's felt it as well as a player, going like, we went on a win streak, I was coming back, and like they just didn't play me because why change something that isn't broken?
I'm sorry to laugh while you were talking, but I read a fantastic Patrick Waugh quote from tonight.
Please share with the class.
I will pull up on the screen. If I want to have a job tomorrow, I better not say anything. Patrick Waugh, when asked about injury updates on Puck and Hopper. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, Lou Lamoriello scaring old grown men. I guess they would
hockey Hall of Famers, one of the best goalies of all time. Still afraid.
Yeah. What else do we got here? Scarrick is next from. I don't think so, Bill.
No.
Varley better start being okay.
Yeah, Varley, or I hope Hogberg is all right, man.
Yeah. Any censorship says Romanov continues to steadily improve at such a young age. This is actually a good trade. I believe we'll appreciate more with age.
Agree. Hard agree. I'm on the Romanov train. I feel like Mitch is as well, but I'm riding that. I'm buying my Romanov stock. I'm not selling.
Yeah, I like the trade the second we made it because I envisioned this is the type of guy that we were going to get. Maybe it took a while. We'll see if it holds, but we're entering into peak Romanov territory here. So,
yep.
I hope that this stabilizes, but this is the player the Islanders were hoping or we're trading for, and we got him. Let's hold on. Let's hold on for dear's sake.
Hold the line.
And then final one here from Michael. Just they brought it home, baby.
They did. I think that's a good way to end it because Islanders they played a good one tonight and they got to win.
Yeah. So happy everything is working well. Team's playing well. Love to see it.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Matt. He's Mitch. And we will catch you next time.